first step is to create the DynamoDB table. To do that, go to the resources section of your template.aml. Define a new resource called orders table. This is the table name. Of course, there will be more to the table name as I will explain. Define the type. The type of resource we want to create is AWS : serverless. Should be 2 colons, : simple table. S capital, it's a camel case, simple, T capital, table. For Lambda functions, it is function. For DynamoDB tables, we can use simple table, and there are other types as well. And we need to provide a couple of properties, or just one property, the primary key property. So under properties for this resource type, which is a simple table, we need to provide the primary key for this table. The name of the primary key, space ID. The order ID field on the ID Pojo that we have is the primary key. In the database as well, there will be a column called ID that will be the primary key. We don't have to provide anything else. With this much configuration, it tells CloudFormation or SAM that it should create a table for us using this primary key. And also, we don't have to worry about the database. It will automatically create and maintain the database for us. Great, it created the table, but how does our Lambda know about the table name? We can't use this order table as the table name, because when the CloudFormation creates the stack, creates this resource, it will append the stack ID in front of this order table resource, and also at the end it will include a random alphanumeric value. How do we get that value? It's very simple. We can get it using not ref, a reference that Sam gives us. So go to the global section. Since we need that table in our program, we are going to pass that as an environment variable to the Lambda function. Instead of defining it in 2 lambdas, we'll define it in the global section. So start typing along with me and I will explain it once we finish it. Just below this timeout where we have the 30 seconds, parallel to the timeout, define a environment variable. Variables, V capital. Only one variable, call it order underscore or orders underscore table, colon, space, not ref. R capital, ref is a special operator that Sam gives us. Using this, we can reference to the resources that get dynamically created and get their names once they are created. So here you will say orders table. So whenever this resource is created, whatever final name that guy is assigned, please get me that name. That is what this not ref does. And this environment variable called orders underscore table will have that final name, and we will read this environment variable within our Lambda code, and we'll be able to use that table to create data or insert a record into the database and also read data in our read orders Lambda. So in this lecture, you have created a resource called orders table in 2 simple steps. You have defined the resource as a simple table. Then you have provided the primary key. That is all that is required to create a database and a table within that database for SAM and CloudFormation. And then to get the final name of the table itself within our Lambda functions, so that we can use that table to store data, retrieve data, we have exposed that table name, the final table name, we have got it using not ref. When the resources are created, we get the name, we assign it to an environment variable called orders underscore table. In the next lecture, once we start coding, we'll be reading this environment variable using that table name to store the data and retrieve the data.